Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back. Today's Daf Hayemi is Maseches TEMURAH Daf Yud Zayin. We begin on Tes Zayin and Beis at the Mishnah, which is around 8 lines from the bottom. The Mishnah will compare for us the actual korban, the original korban, versus the copy, the TEMURAH. And we're going to highlight differences and stringencies, elements that are found by one over the other. Begins the Mishnah. Chaymer bekachem mi beTEMURAH. We find some chumrais by the actual korban versus its TEMURAH, and vice versa. Chaymer beTEMURAH mi bekachem. We find some elements by the TEMURAH that are not found by the original korban. For instance, Chaymer bekachem mi beTEMURAH. What do we have in the actual korban that's not found in the TEMURAH? Firstly, shakachim oisin TEMURAH. The actual original korban can be a generator of a TEMURAH. But once you make that TEMURAH, which in itself is already a copy, that cannot be transferred further. A TEMURAH cannot generate a new TEMURAH. Vein TEMURAH oisin TEMURAH. Okay, that's number one. Next, hatzibur v'hashutfin. The public, or even partners, magdishin, they can initiate a korban, avalim mirin, but not a TEMURAH, as we have already learned. Next, umagdishin ubarin, veivarim. Technically, a person could be magdish an unborn fetus inside the mother animal. Veivarim, likewise, you can point a specific limb and initiate a hegdish in that manner. But you can't involve an ubar or an aver as part of the TEMURAH generating process. So it goes both ways. Only a full animal can make a TEMURAH, and only a full animal could become a TEMURAH. So these are three chumrais in the original versus the TEMURAH. The original can make a TEMURAH, the TEMURAH can't. Tzibur and Shutfin can make a hegdish, but not a TEMURAH. Hegdish can be even uber ve'ever, as opposed to a TEMURAH. On the other hand, chaymer b'TEMURAH, mi b'kachim, we find chumrais by TEMURAH over kachim. Sha kedusha, there's a gersa sha TEMURAH. When one makes a TEMURAH, it works even if the animal that you're making a TEMURAH is fully blemished, permanently blemished. Chala, it gets applied al balas mun kabua, even if the animal is fully, permanently blemished. The pasuk says so, right? Toiv bara, ra b'toiv. In terms of TEMURAH, we don't differentiate between tam and balmum, and that's unique to TEMURAH, in contrast to the actual hegdish, the original hegdish. We know that if the animal is already blemished prior to initiating hegdish on it, it never attains the higher level of kedushas aguf. At most, it becomes kedushas damim. It's just monetarily kaddish. It never gets to the next level of kedushas aguf. But if you take an existing korban and you transfer it to a TEMURAH, which is already balas mum, that animal becomes kaddish kedushas aguf to the extent that ve'ena yotzei lechu negazes v'liyavet. So although it's blemished, and then you go and you sell it, right? You redeem it. It's still not going to go back to the farm like a regular animal to have it shorn and work with it. Rather, as Rashi says on the top line, kedin kachem, it's like any other korban, which already has kedushas aguf. In which case, even when it gets blemished and you redeem it, it still retains some elements of residual kedusha. You can't shear it, you can't work with it. You only have the heter achila, Rashi said, heter achila only. So that's the chumrah we find by TEMURAH over kach. To initiate is in a way harder. It has to be suitable, but once you have an existing kedusha and you're just expanding it over to the TEMURAH, so even if it's not really suitable, it attains a similar level of kedusha to the original korban. Another thing that we find by TEMURAH not found by the initial Hagdish is Rabbi Yisrael Rida Omer. Also, Shoigi Kemezid Temurah. When it comes to Temurah, even a mistaken declaration has the same status as a purposeful declaration. And that's only B'Temurah. As opposed to also Shoigi Kemezid Mukdash. But when it comes to initiating a Hagdish, it has to be done with purpose, with intent, with awareness. We don't treat a Shoigi like a Mezid. Now, the specifics will be discussed in the Gemara. Concludes the Mishnah. Reb Lazar, Reb Eliezer Omer. Akalayim v'atreif, v'yetze doif, v'tumtum v'atreif. You should know all these deficient animals, crossbreed, treif, internally wounded, it's a doif born by cesarean. Tumtum, gender signs are covered. V'atreif has both gender signs. All these are unsuitable for carbon. And therefore, like Kadosh, they don't have their own Kedusha. Nor can they generate a Temurah. The Gemara will ask, well, obviously, if it's not going to be Kaddish, how could it be a source of Kedusha for others? The Gemara will talk about it. But first, let's dwell on our basic Yehuda. That we treat a Shegig like a Mezid with respect to Temurah. My time with the Rabbi Yehuda, why? What's the source for that? Amakra. Yihiyah Kaddish. The word Yihiyah is extra to teach us La Rabbi Shegig Mezid. Regarding Temurah, a mistake is treated like intentional. Now, what kind of mistake are we talking about? Dechidam. Shegig Mezid. So we have several pshat, 4 in total. Amar Chizkiya, for instance, Kasavar Shumat al-Hamar. A fellow who was unaware of the isser, of the problem with making a Temurah. And correspondingly, in terms of initiating an original Hagdish, you're not supposed to make a balmum into a carbon. You have a blemished animal, not meant to designate it as a carbon. And he mistakenly did it, not realizing that it's a problem. So we contrast these two examples. Is he accountable? Does he get malchus? By Temurah lucky? Yeah, by Temurah he does. It's Gzeres HaKos, even though it was a Shegig, he gets malchus. Takes his ass on this pshat, how could it be? He got malchus b'Shegig. So he has different girs in the Gemara. In any case, according to this girs, he gets malchus even by Shegig. That's how Rashi learns. But if he would do a similar offense regarding initiating a Hegdish, so he has a blemished animal and he turns it into an Oila, mistakenly, he doesn't get malchus. There's another girs of this pshat. Temurah Kaddish, Kaddish. If he's unaware of the Isser and he does a Temurah, it still works, it takes hold. By Kachim, if he's not aware that it's a pra, he doesn't realize that it's like Kaddish, it doesn't even get activated because he really doesn't want to do it. It's a mistake. Rish Lakish, Rabbi Yechon Amr. They have another explanation in terms of what this means, Shegig Mezid. We're speaking that he has, let's say, an Oila and a Shlamim. And next to it he has his regular animal, a Chulin. Because several Leimar Temuras Oila. He intended on saying this will be in exchange for the Oila. V'amar Temuras Shlamim. He misspoke. He said, no, it's going to be a substitute for the Shlamim. So although he was trying to say one thing, Temuras Shlamim Kaddish, it takes effect, it becomes a Shlamim. Despite the fact that it's a toes. Because, it's different than initiating. It's pre-existing, it's just extending, it's expanding it, he's, feeding off an existing carbon. So if he said it, it's over. Gabi Kachim like Kaddish. But in a similar case, when it comes to initiating a Kedusha from the start, if it's an animal that has a blemish, sorry, I forgot the blemish, if it's meant to be an Oila and by mistake says Shlamim, it doesn't take hold because it's a mistaken Kedusha. Lishnachrina is another version of what we just learned. Kosavar Leima Shachar Vamar Lavan. So he was intending on saying the first black, the black bull that comes out of my house will be the Temurah off this carbon. Vamar Lavan, mistake, he said white. Gabe Temurah lucky. So if it's a Temurah, he gets malchus because it takes effect despite his, mumble jumble. Gabe Kachim lucky. But in a similar case, if it's an initiation of a Hegdish, so he's attempting to designate an animal as a carbon, and he wanted it to be black. By mistake, he said white, and it was actually a balmum, which is a no-no. Not meant to make a balmum hegdish, he won't get malchus because it doesn't take effect. That's not what he wanted to say. Third pshat, Rabbi Yechon Amar, Ba'omer teitzezu b'tikanesu. He had a carbon in front of him, and he had another chulin animal next to it. And he says, it will take its place. It's going to be a true substitute. Teitzezu b'tikanesu. This animal will vacate its kedusha, and the other one will come in instead, which of course is not the way TEMURAH works. So, will it actually take effect? Will it get malchus? Will it become a TEMURAH? Here he is trying to make an exchange, a swap, which isn't really what's going to happen. The way TEMURAH works is that the original carbon stays, and it just gets sort of extended over to the additional animal. Gabi koshim, shenoilad behemom, likewise, in a similar fashion regarding a regular animal, carbon. Let's say it gets a mum, and this fellow, not realizing that you have to make a pidyon, he thought that you can just eat it without redeeming it. Nechalim blei pidyon. Look, it won't get malchus on account of misusing the carbon. He didn't realize it's a mistake. But Gabi TEMURAH lucky. Regarding a TEMURAH process, even though he misunderstood the system, he thought that it's going to be swapped, really just extended into the next one. He'll still get malchus. After all, he made it TEMURAH. And finally, we have Rav Sheshes Amar. What does Shegi Kemezid mean? Ba'omer is a strange case. Ba'omer ikonos l'bayiseh v'agdish v'amar. He says, look, I'm going into this house, I'm coming home, and when I get there, I'll make hegdish. I'll take an animal and make it, hegdish, animal that's a balmum. Or likewise, in a TEMURAH situation, he says, v'amar, I'm going to make a TEMURAH. Vidaiti, knowingly. Now what happened? V'nichnas, he came into the house, and he got so frazzled, the email, the text, everything is ringing, and v'nichnas v'hemer v'hegdish, shaloi midaita. He carried out his intent, but without much cognizance. He's just making TEMURAH hegdish just by rote, because that's how he programmed himself. There was no real focus or kavanah. Does it take effect? Rashi says he was a bal machshavesu. He wasn't paying attention to what he was saying. So Gabi TEMURAH lucky, Gabi kachim lucky. TEMURAH takes effect, and he gets malchus for making a TEMURAH, but regarding initiating a new hegdish, that doesn't take effect, and even if it's a balmum, he's not held accountable for it. It's not something that was done with cognizance and kavanah, and has no validity. It's interesting, when it comes to TEMURAH, we're marber shegi kemezid, and perhaps the point is because there's already an existing kedusha there, you're just feeding off it. So even without full cognizance and awareness and focus, it still takes effect. And we had 4 variations of this halach. In the final clause of the Mishnah, we have Rabbi Lazar. Rabbi Lazar Aimer, Hakalayim Atreifa, all these deficient, animals that are possible for carbon cannot experience kedusha, nor can they be used to generate a TEMURAH. Amar Shmuel, what does he mean like kedushin? A TEMURAH. So they can't be recipients of a TEMURAH, they can't become a TEMURAH of a real carbon. And when he says v'lei magdishin, it means lasis TEMURAH, nor can they generate a TEMURAH. So if they're a kaddish, they can't make a TEMURAH. And the question is, Tanya, Amar Meir, where's the starting point? Ma'acha she'en kedushin, if they can't have their own kedusha, so they're not karbanis. Me'echan magdishin, how can we even contemplate that they can generate a TEMURAH? They're not kaddish. So it must be as follows. We've got to find a way to accommodate even these animals, to somehow give them kedushas haguf, inherent kedusha. All right, that was his kasha. I mean, you can be magish whatever you want, but it's never going to get kedushas haguf unless it has some shaycha, some elements of hakrav, of carbon potential, some identity with carbon. So if these don't have it, how could they attempt to make a TEMURAH, which of course has to feed off a kedushas haguf? The only way it's going to work out is we have to find a way that they have kedushas haguf. What happened was he was magdish behema as a carbon, then it became a treifa. So it already achieved kedushas haguf, and now it became deficient. So that's why we need a special halacha where you should know once it loses that status, it cannot generate a TEMURAH. But you think it would, because it has an element of Kedusha Guf from before. V'magdish Vlad, v'yatza derech doifen. In the case of a Yitzid doifen, another example, he has an animal that was magdish inside the mother animal, and then was born Yitzid doifen, so it already had Kedusha Guf. And it still retains some residual Kedusha Guf element to it, so you would think maybe it can generate a tumor, and the answer is that it can't. So that accommodates 2 of the 5. That there was some Kedusha Guf that preceded their deficiency, Aval Kalayim, but others that are conditions from birth, from inception, you can't have this. Kedusha Guf phenomenon. Aval Kalayim betumtum adreganus yatamoitze. So the only way they can be relevant to our discussion is Elba Vlade Kachim, if they were offspring of a carbon. So the mother was a proper carbon, then they had these offspring, these Kalayim. So they fed off their mother's Kedusha Guf, and likewise they also rose to that level somewhat. And therefore we have to exclude them from the TEMURAH process, which you would think perhaps they have the ability to make. No, they don't. And also, if I leave the Rabbi Yehuda, this is only going to Rabbi Yehuda the Amar, who says that in general, when it's a healthy, valid Havlad is a TEMURAH. A Vlad can make a TEMURAH. A Vlad of a couple can make a TEMURAH. So we have to, point out that these are excluded because of their deficient state. Amar Rav Ma'itami de Rabbi Elazar. So why, in fact, does Rabbi Elazar disqualify these 5 examples of deficient animals from the TEMURAH process? And the question is really both ways. Why can't they generate a TEMURAH? After all, they have some element of Kedusha Guf to them. And why can't they be the recipients of a TEMURAH? Why can't we make them into TEMURAH? The fact that they're deficient? So what? We find that a Baal Mum can make a TEMURAH, can become a TEMURAH. The answer is K'behem Atmei. We compare it to an unkosher animal, which is certainly out of the ballpark. Ma Behem Atmei lo yikarva v'lo yinachs leKedusha Guf, just like a Behem Atmei, since it can't be brought as a carbon, it also cannot be involved in Kedusha Guf of a TEMURAH. That's just a known fact, established fact that it belongs in the medical bias. We have the psukim that it doesn't have any relevance to carbon, actual carbon. Avhanach likewise, all these fellows, loy karvi, just like they can't be used as a carbon. V'loy nachsalu Kedusha Guf, and they can't be tagged with Kedusha Guf. Amalei Papa L'Rava. Is that a general rule? If you're not going to be a carbon, you're out of luck completely. Very well. Here's an example of a fellow who's not roi fa'akrava, but he can be part of a TEMURAH process. A balmum. Nulai karev. On the one hand, it's never going to go on the mizbeach, but v'nachsal Kedusha Guf, it can become a TEMURAH and have Kedusha Guf. Right? And it could even make a TEMURAH if it was Kaddish before it became Balmum. Amalei Balmum Karbaminoi. So he says, no, you can't compare. Balmum, true, this specific animal is not suitable for Akrov, but its type. So, the sheep family in general is Karev, has Akrov, as opposed to, Kalayim, etc. These are unique, exclusive types, which are totally deficient, and not Roi from Mizbeach. And similar to Behemoth Tmeet, an elephant, which is not Roi Fa'akrova in its type. Yoch, if that's the case, Treifa Namika Karbamina. Hold it, one of these examples of Treifa. Treifa is not really a new type. It's just unwell. But its type is suitable for Akrava. So that sort of flies in the face of this whole, formula. It's not really going to be consistent with this. Elama Rava Behemoth Tmeet. Says Rava, we're going to compare them to Behemoth Tmeet from a different angle. Ma Behemoth Tmeet Pasal Aguf. Just like a behemoth is inherently deficient. Psul Aguf. It's the wrong type. Avkol Psul Aguf. Likewise, any deficiency which is inherent is disqualified from TEMURAH. Lafuki Balmum, as opposed to Balmum, which is not inherent. The Psul Chisarninu. There it's possible because it's missing. It's missing a leg, it's missing a heart. So Rava called Ksiva Parsha. Let's remember, in the Parsha Bali Mumen we have all kinds of conditions. Sarua, He has, disproportionate limbs, kolot. He has his hooves that are closed up. That's not missing. Psul Gufninu, they're misformed. They're inherently wrong, inherently deficient. Right? And still, you can make a temurah with it. Elam Arava, Kibei Metzmeya. Let's go back to the first pshat. We're going to compare to a Behemah Tmeya. Ma Behemah Tmeya de Leka B'mina. I've called Leka B'mina. What's unique about a Behemah Tmeya? In its type, there is no akrab. The entire elephant family has no akrab. Likewise, all these deficient, animals here, in their type, have no suitability for akrab. The sheep's, the other sheep in the sheep family, if they're not bali mum, they're okay. My armor. So now back to your question. We already went through this before, but we asked from treifa, which is for the most part okay, right? Its type is acceptable. Just the specific treifas, treifa ikabamina. Says the Gemara, but still not comparable to balmum. It's more. If we have to, choose between balmum on the one hand and behemah tmeya on the other side, we can compare it to behemah tmeya. Like balmum, it's not comparable to balmum. It's more daima to behemah tmeya. Why? Behemah tmeya asur b'achila, treifa asur b'achila, because just as behemah tmeya is asur to eat, likewise a treifa. Now, forgive balmum as opposed to balmum debut b'achila, which is permitted for consumption, personal consumption. So it's totally uncomparable to behemah tmeya. So that's why we choose to compare a treifa to behemah tmeya over comparing it to balmum. Okay, so bottom line, according to this approach, which is explained in Rabbi Lezer's sheet in the Mishnah, typically a deficient animal is not right to make a temurah, to become a temurah. Balmum is different. It's an exception to the rule, for the reasons we mentioned. Amar Shmuel disagrees, and he's going to follow a different opinion of the Chachamim found in the Tosefta, who dispute Rabbi Lezer's notion. He says even if it's deficient, it can still attain an element of Kedushas HaGuf, and you can make permitted temurah, etc. Amar Shmuel, Magdash HaTreifa, if a person takes an animal which happens to be a treifa, and he's Magdash as a carbon, don't think it's just like a piece of wood that never attains Kedushas HaGuf. Tzricha mum kavua liftay salav. You have to wait until it gets a permanent blemish, and then you redeem it like any other carbon that's deficient. But without a mum, it still has Kedushas HaGuf, and you can't just redeem it or sell it. So you tell me that he's classified as a carbon, Kedushas HaGuf, so you're redeeming him for what? To send him to the dogs. There's no other customer for a treifa. Is that okay? That's a big controversy. Says the Gemara, no. Ela'ema oisa kedusha lamos. That you're generating an inherent kedusha, and the only outlet is death. You have to let it die. You can't do anything with it. Rav Yeshi Aimer disagrees. He goes with the previous approach in the Gemara, that unless the animal has some potential for akrava, it will not attain the level of Kedushas HaGuf. At most, it will be Kedushas Damim. It's monetarily kaddish, like he's Magdash a car. Rav Yeshi Aimer Ein look at Magdash Eitzim Van Mulvan. It's like he's Magdash sticks and stones. It only has Kedushas Damim, and you just redeem it as is, sell it as is. Now comes a kasha on Shmuel, Tanah. Mentioned later in Al Masechta, which says like this: Kol hakachim shenasa treifa ein paitin noislam. So you had a carbon and became a treifa after it became a carbon. You can't just redeem it, because the only customer are the dogs. You're not meant to redeem a carbon for the dogs. Okay, now, not Tama Shinasu. It would seem from the Mishnah that the prohibition against redeeming it and sending it to the Klavim is only because it went in this order. It first became a proper carbon. Kedushas HaGuf was attained, and then it became a treif. So it has Kedushas HaGuf, and you have to be careful with it. You have to handle it with care. You can't, how you treif, how you make car. But suppose it was a treifa from the start. So the treifa condition preceded it becoming hekdesh. It never rose to the level of a kedushas haguf, and poitin oisan. There's no issue redeeming it, sending it to wherever. It never got kedushas haguf. It was merely kedushas damim. That's a kasha on Shmuel, who says otherwise. According to Shmuel, even a treifa can become kedushas haguf. He writes, says the Gemara, there is a difference of opinion in this matter. Yeah, perhaps this Tana holds like the Yeshita, which we had in the Mishnah of Elazar. An animal which is not suitable for its own sake, meaning it can't be used as a carbon, it's a treifa, whatever. It cannot become kuzal guf. But Shmuel holds like the different Shita of the Chachamim, that even something deficient like a treifa can technically attain some element of Kedush Saguf. Here comes another kasha from the Bryce that we had before. Tashma, Rab Lazar, Hakalayim, V'yotzedoifin, Utreifa, V'tumtum Adregnas, all those 5 deviations, Loi Kedoshin, Loi Makdishin. Already explained this before, Rab Shmuel, Loi Kedoshin B'Temurah, Loi Makdishin Lasis Temurah. They can't become a Temurah, they can't make a Temurah. V'Tanya, Amar Mir the kasha. Obviously, if it can't have kedusha, of course, why would you think it can make a temurah? It must be that it already was kaddish before it became pasul, in which case it already has kedusha saguf. The only possibility is it became kaddish and then became a treifa. Okay, like we explained before. But clearly, if it was a treifa before it became a carbon, it will not become a carbon. It can't become a guf. That's a kasha on Shmuel, who says that, yeah, it's on Talmud base. Once again, Amalach Shmuel. Shmuel will respond. This is a difference of opinion. Dil mahach tanenami, Sovar, perhaps this Tana as well holds. It's not suitable. It doesn't become kaddish. You can't actually offer it as a carbon. It will not give saguf. But I would disagree. I go like a different shita of different chachamim who hold that it can become kedusha saguf regardless of its deficiencies. Okay, so we have 2 perspectives on the kedusha of a carbon, kedusha saguf, according to one approach. If it's severely deficient, kalayim, treif, all these types of animals, they cannot become kiddush saguf. They can't become kaddish, kiddush saguf. They can't make a temurah. They can't become a temurah. Valmum is different because in its type, it's suitable, right? This type of animal is suitable, so that's different. Whereas we have Shmuel following a different shita that even something which is severely deficient can technically attain kiddush saguf to some degree. Okay, we begin a brand new perek. Elu kachim. Here comes a list of karbonis. Shavla deseyan, utmur deseyan, keitzeben. What happens if an animal, a carbon, has a vlad, an offspring? What's the status of that offspring? What about a temurah? What's the status of the temurah? Says the Mishnah, Elu kachim shvala the same, their offspring, the temurah and the temurahs, kayetze behen, has same status as the original carbon. For instance, vlad shlamim, shlamim gives birth. Utmurasan, or the temurah shlamim, uvladan, or the child of, uvlad vladan, next generation, atzev kalaylam, all the way down the road. Harihen kashlamim, we treat them like kashlamim in all matters. Utunin smicha, you have to lean on it. Unusacham, bring the sacham. Utnifas chadav shaiki, separate the chadav shaiki, wave it, give it to the kain. We treat it like a regular shlam. Ask the Gemara, why this whole elaboration? The child, the grandchild, all the way down the road, given the Tana, vladan, uvlad vladan. Once the Mishnah enumerates the second and third generation, why do you have to go past that? Ad Soif kol olam. Why do you have to go and say, well, until the end of time, normally, what's the point? Obviously, if it goes to the second, the third, of course it keeps on going. The answer is, Tana Didan, our Tana of our Mishnah, Shami Ler Blezer. He heard that Blezer holds differently. The Amar who says, Vlad Shlomim Likrav Shlomim. No, Vlad of Shlom does not have Shlomim status. To which our Tana responds in full force. V'amar Tana Didan, comes our Tana responds to that. You know what? Not only the son, not only the grandson, all the way down the road. Goes without saying, I disagree regarding the next generation. I won't agree with you even all the way down the road. 20 generations now. So he's trying to highlight his point. Now the obvious question is, how do we know? The vlad of a carbon has carbon status. TEMURAH. We have the pasuk by the Shlomim. And Rashi explains, it could have just left out any reference to Zachor or Nekeva. The pasuk reads like this: V'im zevach Shlomim karbonai. Even Abakar or Makrav. Then it adds, Im Zachar, Im Nekeva. These are extra words. You could have just said it without it. Could have just said, Im min Abakar or Makrav, Tamim Yakrivenu. Why Im Zachar, Im Nekeva? Tanur Rabbanan Zachar, the word Zachar, the rabbi, Savlad, to include a Vlad, and give it Shlamim status. Validinu. Now, I could figure it out by simple logic. Even a Temurah, which will soon be learned from a pasuk, which has the status of the original carbon, which is not an outgrowth, it's not produced by the Hegdish, still Kreva, you makriv it as a Shlamim. Of course, the Vlad, which was produced by the mother, Shlamim, Shegdule Hegdish, it grew out of the Hegdish, and then wouldn't you agree, wouldn't you assume, She Yikrav you makriv it? Why the pasuk? Well, it's not so simple. Perhaps Temurah, which you're learning from, has an advantage over Vlad. Temurah is universal, applies to every carbon, as opposed to Temurah of Vlad. It only applies to a female carbon, which is, a limited list. Shlamim, but not Oila, not Asham. These are only males. They don't have Vlad. Temurah of Vlad Sheinei Vlad Kachim. So perhaps in a carbon, it doesn't have carbon ability. Hence, Zachar comes, L'Rabbis Havlad, to include the Vlad as well. Then we have the word Nekev on the pasuk. What is that coming to cover? L'Rabbis says, Temurah. A Temurah of the Shlamim is treated like the Shlamim. And L'Temuras, Temimin. Uvlad Temimin. Okay, established. The Vlad, the Temurah, you're included. But maybe it only includes the Vlad of a whole unblemished mother carbon. The Temurah of a whole unblemished mother carbon is coming from a healthy source, so perhaps that's included. What if it's coming from an unhealthy source? The mother is already a Baal Mum, not suitable for a Kravan, she had a Vlad. Or a Temurah, what happens there? Vlad of a Bali Mumin. Or a Temurah is Bali Mumin, how do we know to include him as well? Tamalayma Im Zachar. The added word Im combined with Zachar tells you not only the Vlad of a complete animal, even the rabbi is dvad of a Bali Mumin. And likewise, the word Im combined with the word Nekeva, which is for the Temurah, the Im is coming to tell you the rabbi's Temurahs of Bali Mumin. So now we have it all covered. The Vlad and the Temurah, whether it's coming from a Tam or Bali Mumin. Okay, I agree with the halacha, but what about the sourcing? Why don't I switch it? So the Gemara at this point figured what he meant to ask is, maybe the Im of Zachar is covering the Temurah of a Baal Mum. Maybe the Im of Nekeva is coming to the Vlad of a Baal Mum. So he says, no, it makes sense that the Im, in conjunction with the Zachar, Zachar is coming to cover the Vlad, so the Im is coming a Vlad of a Baal Mum. Nekeva covers the Temurah, the Im covers the Temurah of Baal Mum. As he says, Mistaber, it makes more sense in Malkim Shin Straps at Temurah, Temimin, the word Nekeva, which is teaching the Temurah of a Temimin. So the word Im, alongside it, Nisrapsa is coming to cover the Temurah as Bali Mum, Temurah of Bal Mum. Makes sense, and it's on the same, track. Amalei says, no, that's not what I meant to ask. Of course, Mikamin Lach, Leifuch, Im Zachar, Im Nekeva, did I mean to switch the word Im from here to here? Ano Kuli Kro Kamina, I meant to switch the whole configuration. Meaning, Ema, why don't we say that Zachar and Im Zachar, L'Rabbi says Temurah. That's alluding to the Temurah. And the Keva, the Rabbis Havlad. Amalei says, interesting, he says the word Zachar, the word Vlad is Lashon Zachar Mashma, it's masculine, so it makes sense that it's included in the word Zachar. And TEMURAH is Lashon Nekeva, it's feminine Mashma, therefore it makes sense to be included in Nekeva. Interesting. It's fine, established. Vlad or TEMURAH of a Shlomim is treated like the Shlomim, whether it's coming from a Tam or Balmum. Now, L'may Hilchasa, we say it's Kaddish. Regarding what? To what extent? What do you do with the Vlad or the TEMURAH? Amar Shmoli Karev, on the Mizbeach. We'll leave the Rav Elazar, like Rav Elazar tells us later in the next Mishnah, that it goes on the Mizbeach. Oh, now Rashi points out that Gemara's question is not a Vlad or TEMURAH of a unblemished mother animal. That, of course, is a carbon. The Gemara's question was, we covered even a Vlad of a Balmum, coming from a mother animal, which is the Balmum. We covered a TEMURAH derived from a Shlomim Balmum. So what happens to the Vlad and the TEMURAH? On the one hand, you can say, well, he's suitable, bring him as a carbon. On the other hand, he's sourced, he's coming from a blemished, unfit animal. So that's the question. Amar Shmuel Ikarev Lezer. You offered as a carbon. According to Lezer, tells us later that it's suitable for Akrava despite its humble, origins. Now, the truth is, Rav Elazar speaks about the offspring of an oila. So a fellow took an akeva and set it aside as an oila. An oila is meant to be a zachar. He set aside an akeva, and she had a baby. Comes Rav Elazar and says the baby is considered a full-fledged carbon despite its deficient origin, that the mother is an akeva. Doesn't matter. And likewise over here, you have a Vlad of a Shlomim Balmum. The Vlad is okay. He's a good carbon despite his humble origin. And the Chiddush is the Ma'od HaTema. Perhaps there's room to think that this is different. A Vlad of a Shlomim Balmum perhaps is worse than a Vlad of a Eilas Nekeva. Ma'od HaTema, ki kamar Rav Elazar. Oila. Perhaps Rav Elazar only refers to the Oila, because the term, the concept of a carbon oila applies to his mother as well. How is that? So Rashi explains. Even though a behemah nekeva is not right for an oila, but in some form you can have a female oila as well. So you can have a variation of a female oila. How? A bird. If it's a bird oila, it can be a female as well. So it's not inherently contradictory. Female with oila. So therefore, even though in an animal form it doesn't work, if it's in a keva, but the concept, the label, the title of oila is applicable to the mother as well. Meaning, it's consistent with the concept of oila. So now that we have this offspring, this child who's a zachar, be my guest, he's good to go. But by us, we have a shlomim which is a balmum. We never allow a balmum on the mizbeach. So the balmum condition is inherently contradictory to the hakrova of the shlomim. So perhaps, since the mother is unsuitable completely, likewise the offspring. The point is, yeah, he's suitable, go ahead. Despite his deficient origin. He says that when we spoke about the Vlad of the Balmum, it meant l're'iyah. Send them out to pasture and take the money, buy with it a carbon. We'll go even like the Rabbanim who say that when you have deficient origins, you can't be used as a carbon. Itmar, we find likewise. Rav Amar Karav Aliba de Rav Elazar. We're speaking about Bimakar the child like Rav Elazar Shita. Rav Amar L'Riyah. No, we're speaking about sending them out to pasture and forwarding the money to buying a new carbon like the Rabbanim. Who reckon with the deficient origin. So we have one approach, which is the Brisa here. How do we know the Vlad and the TEMURAH of a Shlomim is considered a Shlomim? Im Zachar, Im Nekeh. We have another approach from a different Tana, providing another source for the same halach. Rak Kadashecha. Pasuk speaks about bringing your karbanos to Beis Hamikdash. Rak Kadashecha. What's that? Ela Temuris, covering the Temuris as well. Ashir Lacha, what's that? Ela Vlada is the offspring as well. Tiso, Basa, bring up to Beis HaMikdash. Okay, deliver them to Beis HaMikdash. What do you do there? Yachal, perhaps Yachim, send them to take them to Beis HaMikdash. Even them Mayim Mazan, withhold food and drink, let them die. The Shemusu. Perhaps that's what you do. There's no proper recourse other than Tamalim Vasisa, Oila Yisecha, Basar Adam. Basa continues there. You process it like a regular carbon. No different. Kadeh Shatanaig. Ba'oila, same process applied to the oila, the proper oila. Tanaig with Temurah, due to the Temurah. Kadeh Shatanaig with Shlamim. Tanaig with Vladi Shlam. Same process applied to the mother Shlam, you apply to the offspring. Uve Temurah. And that as well. Yochal Kal Kachem Kain. So perhaps this applies to all carbonis. Every single Vlad and Temurah of every carbon. Tamalayma Rak. The word Rak is limiting, to exclude some carbonis. Later we'll explain exactly what this is. Divrei Bishmo, Kiva Aymin Etzarech. Kiva says we don't need a special limiting term. We already have it elsewhere. Aray Aymer Asham Hu. He's the Asham. Hu Karev, Temurah Karev, only Asham is brought as a carbon, not the Temurah. So we already know to exclude it from the Elapas. Amar, let's go back to the Braisa. Tisa Basa would tell us that you deliver it. Perhaps you let it die. Bring it to Beis HaMikdash. Let it die. Why would I think so? Why would I even suggest that? We know that Hakivan the Gamra, we know Kabbalah, we have a halacha, Chomesh Chatois Meses. There are 5 variations of deficient Kabbalas Chatas which go to Misa. So what does that tell us about the rest? Right? 5 Chatois, one is a Vlad Chatas, one a Temurah's Chatas. So that Misa system is unique to Chatas. Hanach Mikur Karvi, what we assume a Vlad and a Temurah of a different carbon is a proper carbon. Why would I think you let it die? Well, Maudatema, perhaps there's room to think Chamish Chatois Meis B'Chamaka. Perhaps all Vlada is all derivatives of carbonas are left to die. What's Niki B'Chatas is that you actually let it die anywhere, B'Chalmakim, anywhere. But B'Hanach, you must B'Sachira, as opposed to the Vlad and Temurah of the Shlamim, whatever. It also shares a similar fate, but you do it in the Beis HaMikdash. Kamash, one comes to pasuk and says, no. They're proper, kosher, acceptable carbonis. So here we have another source for this halacha in the Mishnah that of Vlad and Temurah of a carbon, like a shlamim, is kosher for akrova on the mizbeach. Okay, continue tomorrow with Hashem. All the best to you, Natzlach.